Hello, my dear friends. I am in the process right now of trying to go through some of the paradigm shifts that are required to really have a good shot at building a beautiful and healthy and functional and successful marriage. So the first paradigm that I spoke about in another video is just trying to understand what marriage is. I'd like to speak about another paradigm shift that if we don't have this shift, we simply can't get there in a marriage. In our book, Not a Partnership, this is part of what we go through is trying to bust these old myths that people have built their marriages upon and try to give them the paradigm shifts that they need to be successful. Paradigm shift number 2, I would describe as follows. Marriages don't just happen. They get built. Now think about that for a moment. When we think about love, when we think about particularly that kind of romantic, powerful vision that we grew up with of falling in love, one second, falling in love? That sounds pretty passive, doesn't it? It sounds like I just kind of like fall into a relationship. As long as I meet the right person, I fall into that relationship. I meet Prince Charming, I meet Princess Charming, everything is amazing. And once, of course, if I find the right person, it's not a lot of work, right? You don't have to work if you find someone who's perfect. Nothing could be further from the truth. Marriages don't happen. Marriages have to be made. They have to be built. Now, here's the problem that we're all faced with in terms of the paradigm we grew up with. We all grew up with Hollywood romance. In a Hollywood romance, what happens? Boy meets girl, they see each other, it's oh my gosh, the music plays, it's the moonlight, everything is amazing. Generally speaking, they get together once, and then something crazy happens, and they miss each other, and they fight, and they go away from each other. Then they realize, oh my gosh, what have I done? And they spend the rest of the movie or the rest of the book trying to get back together, trying to fight it, trying to get there. And in the end, of course, they finally do find each other, and they fall back into each other's arms, and the curtain comes down. And that's meant to be love. The problem is that a real marriage does not begin and end with that curtain. The real marriage actually begins when the curtain comes back up, and now it's the next day. And now, one second, she's not quite as cute as I thought she was, and he's not quite as funny as I thought he was, and she's not quite as charming, and he's not quite as, respectable, and oh my gosh, I guess life has played that bad trick on me again. And once again, I got duped, and I gotta go find another person. The answer is no. Now, by that, I'm not saying that every single person you wind up with could be the person you should marry. You have to be careful. You have to be thoughtful. You have to look for the right person. You have to be a little bit skeptical. Make sure this is a person that you could live with, and a person with good character, and a person you want to commit to. But at the end of the day, it's not about falling into each other's arms and then expecting everything to be wonderful without any work. To the contrary, when the curtain goes back up that next day, that's the point at which you say, okay, can I commit myself to this person? Can I commit myself day in, day out to beginning a lifelong process of giving to this person? When I'm willing to do that, and when the other person is willing to do that, and we can commit to giving to each other and building each other and working to give each other the lives that we want, and that we're willing to put in effort and attention to constantly keep our marriage fresh and beautiful and intimate and give each other the security and the love and the affection that we need, that is the beginning of a lifelong, phenomenal marriage, which is something that, at least according to the survey data and according to, I think, what we all know, we all really would like to have. Okay? So let's understand marriages don't happen to us. We have to make them happen. That's got to be the mindset that we walk into a marriage with.